Hello, everyone, and welcome to Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. We are going to the demokratiska Böhmen is the official pronunciation of this land. Det demokratiska Böhmen, the democratic Bohemia. And we are situated by one of our prides, one of our great prides, the steel mill. The steel, where we make our steel. And look at the proud workers as they go into the steel mill to produce smoke and everything. See, they are striding with pride to work at the steel mill to produce steel for our great nation, for the great nation of the democratic Bohemia. Actually, we're quite laid back here, but we are also pretty well off. Yeah. Steel, rails. Here's a really crazy rail junction. Why on God's earth? Why would you need to build? Why would you even build a junction like this? Is it even a junction? What is going on here? Why is it laid out like this? You see, we have in this end, we have a line that comes through over there somewhere. And it can go in several directions from here. We have, for example, these. I think these are iron trains. Iron trains? No. This is a coal train. The iron train moves that way. This is a coal train. We have coal trains. They go up there. We have iron trains. They come from down here and go to that aggregate unloading place. And we have these lines, as I said, they bring in coal and they also take the exports out. So whenever they're done here with this batch, that 474 tons of steel that we need to fill the train up. Yeah, I think we'll hit $1 million with this load of steel, maybe more even. We could stand with a bit of more workers in the steel mill. Look, there's a train coming in, and it is an iron train. Yes, it unloads into these aggregate storage facilities. The reason that you end up, or I rather, I'm not speaking for anyone but myself here, I end up building all of these buffers in every system with aggregate loaders and fuel cisterns and stuff, is because it is easy to get something wrong with your trains. For example, they can get snarled up. The train can get the idea that, hey, I need to go refuel. Where is the closest fuel station? It's over there. Is it along my route? I don't know about my route. I'm not even aware of the concept of a route right now because I need to go and get fuel. So the train goes and gets fuel, and then it turns around in order to go back to the line that it is normally supposed to travel on. And of course it can't find a route back because the lines through the train diesel stations are one way. Yes, stuff like that. That's just one example of many that can happen. And that's why I build in these buffers, so that we have resources available and places to store them. One thing that we I would like to have done actually, now I realize, is to follow that iron train to its source. That's a reasonable thing to do, right? Here's another one. Yeah, here's another iron train. Let's follow that one once it's done. So we are going through quite a bit of iron here. We're going through. The maximum consumption is 200 tons per workday, but I suppose that is if you have 500 people actually working there, and we're not quite there. We're not quite there. I should have plenty enough buses. And here, full bus, 129 workers. Some of them going to the work at the mechanical components factory. I think, yeah, we're still having people employed at the concrete plant. We don't need that right now. We are not building anything or anything. Let's focus every single worker, every last one of them, on the effort of producing steel. Yes, that's what we want to do. What are we doing? How are we doing? Okay. Let's look at the train then. God damn it! That's a coal train. What the? Where did my iron train go? What is this? This is another one. What the hell? Oh, pardon my French. There. Here we go. This is an iron train. Let's just follow it along. That's the wrong one. Are you drunk, sir? No, not quite. But I'm just drinking a pilsner here while controlling my republic, and I think that's quite. It might not be required, but it is certainly soothing. There we go. The train is unloading iron and putting it through these conveyors here on the pile. Yes. And there we go. Now then, let's follow the train to the source of the iron. And of course we have a red light because there's another train coming. This is a very busy place since we have all these trains. We also have oil trains coming through here on one of the craziest lines ever to get the oil. The oil is way over there on the other side of that mountain. And to get a rail line going along the border and then connect up to the rail line here, around here, that was a lot of fun. Of course, great fun. But we actually managed to push on through and get that rail line connected. So now we have a really nice big surplus of oil at the refinery. There we go. I mean, yeah, let's just enjoy the train cars articulating along the railway, the rickety railway that will lay across the Republic. Do we need to stop for fuel? No, we don't need to stop for fuel. We are probably doing well then for fuel. As the sun sets, we pass the low bridge over the river. As the leader of the Republic for now, what is it, 26? What year is it? Yeah, for 26 years, I really should know the name of the river, or I just haven't gotten around to naming it yet. Okay, yeah, that's how it is. I decide so. The train here is the locomotive is an American one. Yeah, we bought that out of. We took money out of the great fund, the great pensions fund, where we save up for the rainy day that might come someday, when the Soviet Union doesn't. There's a building on fire. Oh no! Oh no! And it's in. God damn it! It's a fuel pump. Okay, it's over by the refinery. Let's go have a look. Let's go have a look. Let's just keep you around and let's go have a look because it's a bit exciting here. We have we have 900 tons of diesel or petrol or whatever it is in these tanks, and fire around this area is could be quite a cause for concern. But we have the fire truck is arriving promptly, very promptly. They are. Oh, that was fast. That's really good. Good work, guys. Good work, guys. Fire extinguished. Yes. Let's get back to the iron ore train as it's heading out to the source of the iron, without which there could be no steel, after all. We are trundling along the river. The rail goes as the landscape was provided to us. It's really it is one way to go with laying down railway in this game, and that is to try and do not do any. Try and get by without doing any terrain modifications like you do with holding down the right mouse button to flatten out the terrain. Try and avoid that. Try and work your way around using the wireframe and work your way around the landscape. And that way you can use the planning tool. You don't need to build the railway the right way. So if you do end up taking it in a place where it turns out you couldn't go, you don't need to waste the money. Just click cancel and that's it. Nothing else happens. And you don't need to build construction offices along the way because, as I said, we're doing it without terrain modification. This is a properly long train. That is how we do it. Trains are supposed to be long. That's when they get efficient. There appears to be someone at the other end of the tunnel, maybe, or coming out of the tunnel. There he is. What's this guy done? That is also an iron train. It's going back to where we just came from. How are we doing for diesel here? We're doing very well for diesel here. Right then. Continue. As we head into the tunnel of something. It's the tunnel of clipping, I could say. This is not the most. We're not doing the game engine any favors here by doing that, and I really do not want to put down the game engine in any way because it is truly a unique game and a unique engine and feel to this game, and I think that is what makes me come back to it or to just keep me addicted to it, basically. Look at this train. And look at the railway and everything. How it flows with the landscape. Somewhat. And here we are a bit. We're not really flowing with the landscape here, are we? Because we are now at the iron mine. And mining, it's hard to get around the fact that you are digging stuff out of the earth, and by doing so, you're digging stuff out of the ground. Yeah, there's nothing else you need to say about that. 200 people we got going, and the output is rather low. It could be a lot higher, but we are simply not consuming enough iron, even though we have the steel mill running at almost 100%. We have a surplus of iron. We could be taking a lot more iron out of that mine, but then why should we? There is no need. We are, as I said, we're quite laid back in our republic. We don't need to work more than we need, and as I said, we're doing really well here. this communism thing is working great for us, I'd say. And if we look at the population statistics, we can see that we are very well cared for when it comes to communism and communistic ideals and so on. We are all along with the program right there. This year it's the 22nd. Let's look at last year. What happened last year? We had 22,500 births. We had 17, almost 18,000 deaths, and 3,500 escapes. It's inevitable that you get escapes in this game. You see, it's because of these guys, adults living with parents, and I mean, one thing you can say about the people in these republics that we build is they like to procreate a lot, quite a bit, and I think that I'm not certain that the game has a concept of male and female, or indeed that you even need two in order to have an offspring. Maybe you need two, but if we look at any person here, Repin Jaromir Olegovich. This person has 3 children. Irisa, I'd say that's a lady or a girl, maybe. How old is she? Yeah, she's not a lady yet. She's 6 years old, but she will be a lady one day. She has a lifespan of age 5. Yaroslav Yudachov Yaroslav Alesnovich. He's a baby. So yeah, the names might very well have a gender system, but I'm not sure that a woman and man need to get together in order to have children. In a way, that is what gets you escapes, because unless you continue building housing for all these people to move to, they will just end up as adults living with parents, and they could be very well educated. Look at our republic here. We got 15 or almost 16,000 people with university education, and yeah, 13,000 children, 9,000 babies. Now, if you look at that, we're not doing bad for education. We're doing really well. We have 564 cars. That's for the people in the capital, of course. Actual population is 57,000 at the moment. It's another building on fire. I don't know what it is about this game with the fires, because you can. Oh, it's a place of residence in Hamstergrad. It's on fire. My God, man, people, hurry up! Citizens are in peril. People are living here. I wonder what happened. Maybe someone was trying to distill some. Why would they? They don't need to just try and distill something. We have the distillery is over the hill there, and booze is readily available here at the bar. Should anyone want it, they are not that inclined to drinking alcohol, but we do have quite a bit in stock, and I think, as I said, I'm pretty sure it's free. We have 4 bar staff and 3 guests. Yeah, well taken care of, and it's a really nice view for them as well. I'd say this is one of the nicer bars that we have in the Republic. My God, there is 83-year-old Gerolamo Irisa. Are you going to make it? You are in an ambulance. But are you going to make it? I think that you're in this ambulance. Let's see. Because there is a problem in this game. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. You might make it. What is your health? What? I can't even click you. Where are you going? There you go. There you are. You're 83 years old. You have a lifespan of 23. Apparently, you have a health of 5%. Are you getting treated at the hospital? Current demands. You need what? What's going on? Where are you? You're being treated. Oh, you're being treated. Wait, and your health is going up. You made it. You survived the fire. Your lifespan is increasing. It is still quite a bit below your actual age, though, which I don't know how to tell you this, but I'd say that that's not very good odds then. But let's hope that she'll make it. She won't get much older actually. Anyway, the average lifespan is 81.36 years in this town, so she is already past there. A good citizen respects the average lifespan. I mean, we have a limited pensions fund after all, people. Hamstergraden. So we've looked at iron. That's one thing you need. We didn't look really closely at how the actual iron mine is set up, though. Now, did we? No, we got distracted by a fire. There was a fire, and when there's a fire, you sort of stuff tend to burn up. Where is the iron field? The iron field is here. And again, because of the way this game works, I build everything with a lot of buffering. Here we have, let's start with mine. to 130 people, half of them I'd say university educated. They are really doing well. The good people of Kirarush are working here. Put that on a big heap here, it's always full. I don't know how many. I mean, the maximum consumption here is 225 tons of iron ore per day. The maximum production, I think this is actually capped now because these are limited, so we don't know how many tons of iron ore we could pump out here, but I actually think it's more than this. And that goes into there. We have two processors. They bring it down here to via all these engine transfer things. And these are really finicky to get to work. Really finicky. And the way I do it is to use the planning tool, and then the annoying bit is that you have to go around the building, click build it, and so on. But at least in most circumstances you can put in all of the roads, all of these conveyor belts or pipes or whatever it is, and click a button when you're done, happy with it, build. And it builds all of that, but you still have to go to the actual buildings and click through to build them. But if it saves you potentially millions of rubles in an investment that's not going to work out. But we're doing well for iron here. We're doing really well for iron. We are, yeah, it's I think it's quite nice. It's reasonable. We dig it up high up on the mountain. As we enrich it, we send it down the mountain to conveyors through to the final storage place where all of the previous ones are aggregated, if you like, into the large aggregate storage here, and then loaded onto a train. Yeah, that's one part of making steel. What else do you need to make steel? Well, you're gonna need coal. Oh, and you're gonna need a source of power, because you need a lot of heat in order to make steel. And in this case, we are using coal both as raw material for steel, but also for, I'd say, almost all the energy that goes into this place. I mean, look at the place, it's consuming 0.4 of a megawatt. That's not a lot. it's to keep the lights on. I think. I mean, all of that other stuff is burning coal. It goes through the chimney. It falls down. Yeah, let's look at the actual pollution. It actually isn't that bad. This is a bit one complaint one might have with this game is that if we compare the pollution from these coal fired power plants to the pollution of the steel mill, the steel mill is producing less pollution than the fire plants, but it's using 375 tons of coal a day at maximum, and these ones use 24. So we are burning a lot of coal here. And actually, I'd say that the ratio of coal to iron ore is that you need twice as much coal basically as you need iron in order to keep this thing going. So we have two sources of coal, as we know. We have the Demokratikraft coal mine that was originally set up to feed the power stations here, and but since we have such an excellent quality of coal, it's 71%. It's ridiculous. It's so good. So we put the coal on a big heap, and we then built more coal processing plants. And you see these are going at full capacity. It is hard to keep them completely staffed all the time. You're always going to have this game, unfortunately, and especially at smaller workplaces like these ones. It's just how it is. But they are going really well, and as we can see, there's all these buffers set up, all these buffers, and for the moment they're empty, but they might just as well. Something might happen, and they might get backed up, and then it's a good thing that we can save up on it. So that's one source of coal. We also have another one, and it is coming right here. Actually, train is rolling onto the aggregate unloader. Let's look at it unload. It drops the coal through to whatever goes on under there. Look at it, the detail of this game. It's great. It goes up here, up the conveyor, through engine transfer, through to a storage yard, aggregate storage thingamajig. Yeah, and it's waiting to unload it. Yeah, we got coal going, so we're making steel. Should we ride along this train? Maybe. That one goes a rather different route through the Republic, through to the area where we produce food, and in the vicinity of the capital and everything. I mean, out here, this is quite dirty industry that we're doing here. We are in the in this border of the map, and who are our neighbors down here? It's the Soviets and the Soviets. We cannot keep the dirty stuff down here, and what we do, we export the steel for dollars to Western countries. Yeah, we're bastards. We are not on the program for the communist thing. Someone should take a chainsaw out here someday and thin out this forest a bit. It is quite heavily forested through there, considering that this is, I mean, you could say this is one of our main railways. This is one of our stambanor that goes, it carries important stuff. Where are you going? This is not the right train. That's not the way we're meant to go. I wanted us to go to the oil, to the coal field. You're still not unloaded. That's why. That is why. Could we speed it up a bit and get you going? Could just turn you around and have you go back with. But yes, this transfer engine. If we turn that off, yeah. Now the primary coal source from the coal mine up there on the mountain is not connected to the steel mill anymore. And that should mean that we are filling up here at quite rates. Somewhere it's filling up. Anyway, we are consuming more coal directly from the train. This storage yard, which is part of that system. Yeah, and why not connect it back? Because it was built in an order, and it doesn't. It's too much work to do that. Sorry. Let's follow the train. Look at the wagons articulating through there. And we have red signal, of course, because this junction is madness. But it accomplishes what it's supposed to do. You can almost get from anywhere to anywhere. I mean, you can't get from here up this line, but you can get out there, and there are plenty of places you could go. And through here, this is where we load up on mechanical components and steel for the trains, the end product of the steel industry. Here we have a great switching yard for trains to be able to queue for the big intersection that we got going on there. There could be waiting times when there's a lot of trains going. And here's an oil train. What are you doing out here, oil train? Yes, good, you are the oil train that actually supposed to be here with the internal oil transporter. He goes around a lot of places, train diesel stations, and unloads diesel. And that's a good tip if you got this kind of infrastructure, and in order to supply the road gas stations with fuel, rather than having a separate infrastructure for that, or where you might have tanks, or you might have them going all the way to the refinery to get the fuel or whatever. You can just have them load up from the train diesel station. That's great. It's really efficient, usually, because you might have something close by. And look at this single piece of track going over the road. There's a train depot here. Is there anything in the train depot? No, it's empty. And here we're coming up on another complex bit of switching yard. We have to, in order to merge with this line, the safest way, the most foolproof way of doing it is to have it go through a single piece of track. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, but it also means that you get stuff like this. You get traffic curling up and trains waiting at signals and stuff. And after all, in our little model railway here, isn't that what we want? Look at the trains. Oh, it's got a red signal as well. What's going on? It's the other one. He hasn't cleared yet. He's still going. We should have a release signal there, maybe. And let's see who's got the most torque. You do. Or you also have gravity on your side by quite a bit. Yeah, you're going downhill. Yeah, the train modeling is fantastic. It really is. And here we have our statues of Lenin. The border with the Russians are over there after all. And on this rail line we are transporting a lot of oil and fuel, which we sell to their greatest enemy, the Americans or the NATO countries. So we're trying to keep up appearances there by putting up Lenin statues and what have you. And what year is it? 1986. There is something not right in the Soviet Union. I don't think they're going to win it. Sorry, Russians. I believe in the Russian people. I believe that they're good people, but the Kremlin is I don't trust it. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. And here's another example of railway laying in in this game. And I'm rather sure that all of this rail has been laid not by modifying the terrain in any way, not flattening it out, but just by taking the rail and twisting and turning it through the landscape. And it will comply to more than you think when you start fiddling about with it. You start to realize how it works. The method to the madness, it's still madness. I'm not saying anything else, but yeah. Over there we can see actually the first domestic oil wells that we put up. It is unmanned. There are no roads connecting them. That means that we have fires sometimes. These things burn down. We have to replace them. Yeah, still, Kirarush is a bit too far away in order to have fire protect that. It is what it is. And this is another great railway junction with lots of possibilities. What do we have here? We want to accommodate long trains, of course, because long trains are those are where it's at. You want long trains, especially for something like this, where we're transporting coal a long way over the Republic. We don't want short dink trains doing that. We want long trains, and they can, if you're not careful, or if you and the game are different opinions on how to make something work, you might end up with trains blocking junctions, and you don't want that. Here is an example where we didn't go single track for a junction. Yeah, there's a limit to it, but it works. You just need to be careful that a train never ends up blocking another train. So here, for example, yeah, he's just past that signal, which means that he was not blocking. That has taken some tuning to get working. And that is why, again, all the buffer zones and everything and all the production lines. We just need it. There's a tunnel going somewhere, yes. That is an interesting line that you see on the right there. That is an interesting line because it is an internal line. It's not used for export. It is just to transport stuff internally. And what's wrong with that? You know, we are not just a banana republic working for exports. We need to have an efficient movement of our own goods within the republic as well, don't we? And here we go. We're making the turn up to the rail, the line that goes to the auxiliary coal mine. And this is how I recommend that you do it. Even though it looks a bit silly, and this is maybe not how you do it in real life. We have single track there. There are very few signals here. I'm not going to touch it because it is working, and I know that I have had to fiddle with it to get it to work. What it means is that whenever there's a train in here, it will block off quite a bit of this, but we're blocking off a lot of it, but we're doing it in a safe manner. And here there's a queuing area, which is independent of the single track bit here. So once a train is in this queuing area, it will have a nice place to stay until the line is clear for it in order to move out again. And here you see we have a single single bit of track bridge. It goes into this train aggregate loader. And in order to get the thing like this to work, what you need to do is you need to put a chain signal where you're going in and put a regular signal going out, and you need to put on each track you need to put a double way signal. And so when the train goes in here, if the light is blue as it is now, it means that past this point there is a way where you could go. If it's red, it would be red if the other platform was occupied as well. And here, of course, we need to be able to go both ways. And what would be really lovely if we could have another train pull up here, but we're not using that much of this coal down at the steel mill, so that is unlikely to happen at this point. And how much coal did we get? Oh, 600 tons. That's a respectable amount of coal. And the train itself weighs 900 tons. And even though he just filled up on 600 tons of coal, we are still maxed out here. Only this one isn't maxed out. What about these guys? Yeah, I mean coal. We do not have a deficiency in coal. And here we go. He's lucky. He got the green light. He's probably holding up someone. It might be a grain train or something. The grain trains are quite important after all. It's what feeds the Republic after all. Okay, so we have iron, we have coal, we have a little bit of electricity to keep the lights on. What more do we need in order to make steel? We need workers, of course. And bloody hell, this steel mill can take 500 workers, and we're currently keeping it fed with 488 of them. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. That means that we are producing almost a maximum of 40 tons of steel per day. And with the market value, what is the market value of steel now? Anyway, steel, where are you? There you are. In rubles, it would be to sell 2,300 rubles. In dollars, $2,500 per ton. And we make 40 of those per day at maximum capacity. We're probably never at absolute maximum capacity, but we do get pretty damn close. And that's also something I like with this game. It's impossible to get to 100% efficiency or capacity, because as in real life, you're never going to achieve that. Take a thermal power station, for example. A really good one, might get 40% of the energy that is in the coal or the fuel but whatever is used to create steam. 40% of that ends up as useful electric power. The rest is waste heat. Now, necessarily, we wouldn't need to be waste heat. You could use it if you need to heat houses or something, but generally it's heat exchanged through a river or a coaling tower or whatever. Back on track. We are making steel. And, of course, we need workers to make steel, too. And 98% of the people working at the steel mill live here in Halmstad. It was actually a city that was established for the sole purpose of supplying the steel mill with workers. So it is within a reasonable commuting distance from the steel mill. It was established on the 31st of August in 1967. That's right around where we changed from left-hand traffic to right-hand traffic, by the way. But as you've seen, the trains are of course still running on the left side. I mean, it's unnatural to have trains to go on the right side of the track, except for when they're doing a maneuver of some kind. Other than that, it's the obvious thing is to have them go on the left. Road traffic, it's not so obvious which one is the correct one. They both have their merits, I guess. And workers need food, of course. And we're playing it a bit dangerously here because we have no auto purchasing on food on, which means that if the logistical supply chain of supplying this town with food, meat, clothes, especially food, people will get mad. They will escape. They will die. And you see, in this little town of 5,000 people, we have a total of 8,500 escapes. That is since 1967, of course. That is almost 20 years ago. So it's not so bad. There might have been a famine or so, but in order to get this, this is all the vehicles that we have that is supplying this building. A lot of refrigerated trucks. This is the meat thing. Meat thing is a bit annoying because each of these stores have so little. They can only store 3 tons. Oh, you can have the truck wait till unloaded then. But then you might block the parking space and the food truck because the clothes truck came along as well, and the food truck gets blocked. What you want is you want a warehouse next to the shopping center, you want a meat storage next to it, everything, and keep that as I do with the coal ore and iron ore and oil and everything, buffering systems. Problem is though that here we are in an urbanized area. I mean, it's really urbanized actually, considering how much of the country looks, which is it's a beautiful country. It really is a beautiful country, but still, it is not what you'd say densely populated, except for some major cities like Hamsterglad Hill. Most of these people work at the steel mill. Average age is 38 years old. Apparently, you have an average lifespan of 82.6 years when working at the steel mill. So I suppose that you are doing quite well. You have a nice cushy job up there at the steel mill, whatever it is you do. This is something that I don't trust in this game. Unemployed workers, 800. Take a look at this building. 44 workers without job. 60 workers without job. 83 workers without job. And that gets even worse if we look at Kirarush. But no, this is the steel episode. And so we have workers. Sorry to go off on all these. They're not even tangents. They're just loosely coupled together words. That's basically the ambition. No, the ambition is a lot higher, of course, but it is you get what you get. The bus stop here, we have 180 workers waiting at the bus stop, and here comes a jolly great bus that can take 129 workers, I think, passengers, but we only take workers here because this one is going straight to the steel mill. And SG192. I know that we buy these for dollars, and I wonder what it is supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be a Mercedes or MAN. Sorry, I don't know enough about these things, but they are great buses. Great buses, really expensive, but great power. They can haul all these people up to the steel mill without any problem at all. And we also use them for well, basically everything where we need to transport workers across a fair bit of distance in order to get them where we're going, where they need to work. And a worker will travel on a single vehicle for 4 hours maximum. They will wait at a station for 1 hour and then travel on the same vehicle for a maximum of 4 hours, and the total commute time that they will do is 5 hours. If you haven't managed to get them to a working place by then they teleport home and don't work that day. This train that we have had here for a while is 440 tons of 742 tons, and we are up to $1.2 million worth of steel there. The train is 704 tons so far, and we have 30 tons or so left to go. It's loading a bit slow. Yeah, and well, I mean, look at this. You need to have forklifts going here. You will have to imagine the forklifts going through, and the various safety hazards that are implicated while driving forklifts. I mean, yeah, have a look at Staplerfahrer Klaus, for example, and you can see how insanely dangerous these things can be. And heavy industry is dangerous after all. We're doing serious stuff here. We are up here again. We are tearing through the earth, digging up coal that's been there for a long time. Digging it up, we're using a rather modern equipment at this time. But then again, we do not have any mechanisms on this site. So we only have workers. And that would imply that these guys are using pickaxes and what do you call those? That you put stuff in wheelbarrows. Yes. It is a bit of an implication that was we're doing, and still churning out that much coal. That says something about the workers of the democratic Bohemia. And here we go, the steel train. A sharp turn there, making a really sharp turn to head out to, I'd say, the main line of our nation. I'm not sure about which, it's going all the way from down here to up here. So if this would be west, which it isn't, because if we look here, there are eastern countries. These are the Soviet Union. This is the Soviet Union here, and I think also if you look at the sunrise and sunset, it's the other way around. So it's the minimap that is wrong. We have it going. So this would be it's heading for the Eastern Main Line. Yes, the Eastern Main Line that goes all the way from the oil refinery up to the Sinotov border house. And again, rail that is laid according to what the landscape admits. I mean, we have a daring train engineers here in the Republic. They're not afraid to take an 800 steel train going full speed through these junctions and everything. And yeah, but here you see an example of this that I was talking about. The single piece of track there is to safely have the trains queue up in a controlled manner, in a way, in a place where you have space for them to queue up, hopefully, and have enough space that you can put the signals in with such distance and such headroom that the gnarliest circumstances where trains can come in. I mean, we have a lot of traffic going on here. Look at this. There are two oil trains. One is leaving. It might be carrying fuel if it's going to the border, or it's empty if it's going to the first oil field of the Republic. And this train is certainly carrying oil from somewhere. It's going to unload down there at Demokratikraft oil refinery. Yeah, and here we are, steel train. Go then. What are you waiting for? Yes, it's because you are. This block is, of course, the entire tunnel as well. And before you were able to make it through, you had an oil train there, and he is significantly lighter than you. He was just going to make it through the signal before you. You're both at an incline, but you are 728 tons. Was it the same locomotive? I believe it was. I believe it is the same locomotive. I like these. We like these American ones. They don't put out smoke. They are bought for dollars, and yeah, they run well. They also have huge fuel tanks, really huge fuel tanks, and that is good because that means that it's less likely that they'll end up in a situation where they try to go to a nonsensical fuel stop where they should not have any business in going. And this, of course, could be more efficient. You could put more double tracks through. You could even get rid of the single track altogether, but still, then you're going to have crossovers, and that's a problem in this game. Here you could have a release signal way before this. See, the green light just finally came for him, and we have a queue here. But again, this is not a problem because we have all the buffers in place. And isn't it also a bit lovely to have look at the trains here out in the countryside? It is, right, isn't it? Yeah, it is. We have a bit of a hill coming. Will the American locomotive be able to keep up its speed through this hill? 94 kilometers an hour. RPM 24. I think this is basically the percentage of the engine capacity that you're using. So we're using 30% of the available power, which isn't. This is nothing then. Yeah, we're only going up a mountain. Oh, drama! There is traffic at the fuel depot, the fuel station. We have to wait. We have to wait at the signal. We have to wait for the one ahead of us to move out. And I think that he actually filled up the station. Yes, he did. So we thank him for his service in making sure that we have fuel available for our transports. It is of vital importance, of course. After all, without it, what would we be? Nothing. Look at this. We have high voltage lines. I wonder if this one is currently exporting. Yeah, I think it is 7.5 megawatts going through there. And yeah, you wanted to fuel up. That's good. You do it on the way. That's very good of you to do, and not to go some crazy route. And There we go. There's still quite a way to go to get to the border. We are here, and customs warehouse is up here. Uh, and I like this pace, the pace of this game. It takes a while. You break down 728 tons to 0, then it's going to take a bit of time to accelerate up again. Yeah. Here we see another example of the single piece of track to solve a junction. There's plenty of queuing space. That's what's important if you choose to go this way with the railways. And here on the left, again, we have the food production area coming up, where there's also. Let's just click U and do you like this, so we can get back to you later while we have a look at what's going on up here. So this is the main train cargo station, where we bring in crops for the food factories and the distillery. There are warehouses here where we keep crops and food and so on. And so this is a bit of a complicated junction, of course, because we want trains to be able to go out that way and eventually end up at the border with the Soviets, and that's what this train is doing. It is exporting alcohol to the Soviets. Figured they might use it. We don't seem to drink that much. I don't know why. It's free. It's plentiful. Bars are always open. Just go there, and it might also be that the official numbers that I, as the benevolent dictator, get are not 100% in coherence with actual numbers. I mean, this is just not believable. I'm quite satisfied with that number, though. We are not bowing down to the Soviet Union. We are our own republic. We do not take a stance on if we are communists or not. We're just trying to make a living through the time of the Cold War here. 10th of April 1986 is where we're at. There's something about these dates around here. There is, yes. I wonder what will happen to the democratic Bohemia. We continue to trundle along up the countryside. This is what I love about this game. I mean, how many hours have I spent building this? All this leveling terrain to get it to line up and everything. And then when it's all working, and it's actually working without getting snarled up every now and then, it's just a well-working, well-oiled machine running. Here is also a slightly complex junction. All this bit from here to here and here and here and here is one block. There is only one train allowed in here at any one given time. And until such time that he is out of there, this signal should be this signal should be red, and he is out. But yeah, the release signal for some reason is far away, so he's still not out. Anyway, we are the steel train. We're going straight through here. We also have grain trains coming down here from the huge farm area up here. It's truly enormous. They do not go into this storage place. It turns out that to feed 50,000 people, you simply need a lot of crops, and it will only cover that. And to take the crops and put them here in some hopes of shipping some off to make textiles, maybe. And so, no, forget about it. You're gonna need all of it for your food production. So here we are, snaking along the landscape. Turns out really nice, these trains and rails in this game, doesn't it? And I have to give some props to the game optimization. I think it's not bad. This is we've been running for the game for 26 in-game years now. We have a population of over 50,000 people. We have a huge bank account. There's a lot of stuff going on. We have this viaduct and everything, and I'm not running this on a beefy computer at all. I do have a lot of RAM, and I'm pretty sure that what makes it run rather smooth. I tell you, loading up the save file for the first time, that is a good 5 minutes or something, but once it is loaded, it is smooth. Apparently the developer did a big job this the late summer and separated the if I understood it correctly, he separated out the graphics rendering and stuff related to that from the actual game mechanics, the economic simulation and so on, and put those into separate threads. So the game is now, it is not multi-threaded because it is dual thread, so you got 2 threads going at least. And just look at it. This is a busy Republic, and on my old rickety computer with a GeForce 1060 card and a processor that is from 2010 or something, I get this performance. It's not bad. That's not bad. The computer might be a bit hot though. It might be. Here is a bug in the audio engine of this game, and it's too bad because when you run around, when you sit the train like this, if you have a 5.1 surround sound or any other surround sound, it is really well positioned. The sound, you can tell the sound from the locomotive, the engine sound, it comes from the front, and the sound from the rail cars, they come from around you. When you swing around, it changes and everything. It's very good, very well done, very well done. And yeah, just look at the train as it's powering through the landscape. I don't know about you, but I could just watch this. But we're closing the loop soon in steel. We started out with iron, coal, workers, and railways to transport all of this stuff round and round. And in the end, we're going to the customs house with NATO to sell it for $4. I mean, we could expand into engineering and start building vehicles. That's actually something that could be a very interesting prospect for this republic to do. because we have Kirarush with 15,000 people living there, and what they do now today, work-wise, is they produce all the food for the Republic. They produce the iron and they produce the meat. We have meat production as well, which has not been shown yet. But we have a rather well-working meat industry too. And that's all they do. And that's all they do. I mean, that is really important core stuff to our survival here as a republic, because without food, your republic will not last very long. And people need food. That is very important, he says, as if everyone didn't know that. Yeah, great, fantastic insight there. Fantastic insight. Food is important. That is what we have learned today. Food is important. No. Oops, we had a fire. It was a warehouse in Kirarush, but it's Kirarush, so nothing to worry about. Almost $1.3 million we're gonna get now by unloading here. And again, the signals that we have a crossover, a chain signal going in, and then you have two-way signals in every line here, and most of the time this works perfectly. It's not intuitive. I mean, how would you figure this out for yourself? There is a thread on the Steam forums by the developer, which is quite good. Quite good. I mean, the game doesn't, but the game doesn't tell you how to do stuff. There's nothing guiding you along a certain narrative or anything. You have to make up the narrative for yourself. And it is a historic period. We do know what happens in a couple of years. And actually, it's April of 1986 now. So maybe we should make sure that we've got our iodine tablets and keeping an eye on radiation levels, because it's a little bit of a rough time regarding radiation. And that's it. That's the steel unloaded and another $1.3 million in the bank. And the train is speeding up in order to get back to the steel mill and do it all over again. You can see the signals changing as we go through. And at this point, you see here, I mean, you could have a train pass by here and go in, but since these rails are crossing, this is considered one piece of rail, so you can't have it. What you would need then is a release signal right in here or something, but the game won't allow you to place that. And rather than griping about it and just accepting how it is, this is a very special game engine. It comes with both its drawbacks, but also its fantastic features, and what makes it so charming and addictive, in my opinion. It doesn't look like any other game, and it looks so. It is easier for you to build your own narrative here because it looks so good. It looks worn down and everything, but it looks good. It doesn't look like a cartoon train. This feels like a real train. It's a real train. It's a real train. It's going 100 kilometers an hour through 90-degree turns with hundreds of tons of steel on board. So no, but still, we are not going for perfect perfect simulation of reality here. We're going for a bit of fun. And we certainly do here. Is he going to make him? No, you had to stop. How bad. Inefficiency. We're burning fuel that we didn't need to burn. But then again, we have a lot of fuel. We have a lot of fuel. But I think that this is going to wrap it up. We have followed steel from iron to dollars. And the night is setting. Let's see. Yeah, you see, the sun went down over there. Obviously, with the west, the sun goes down in the west. We have NATO there. If we look at the minimap, that looks like north, I'd say. That is north. So the minimap is not correctly adjusted for how the sun is moving and how the game seems to be laid out since the countries are here. What do we have here? It's an oil train. 400 tons of fuel. How much is that worth? You see, $200,000. That's nothing compared to $1.3 million worth of steel. But these guys run constantly. We have one here. There's probably another one coming soonish. And it provides a healthy stream of income. And for April this year, we have 3.4 millions in fuel and 8.6 millions in steel and mechanical components and everything. Yes, that is indeed going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching and good night.